oluyor? Onu vur ama. Okey ya. Tamam Pikachu oğlum. Ay! Gördü! Yampi! Ne oluyor oğlum orada? Helal Yampi! Aman sikeyim be. Abi atma o trapleri, atma ya. Oğlum overlay nerede? 2v2. Magnum 1 can kanka.
There's the drop down. You obviously hear this, but Sociable has all the shots fresh to go with the Headhunter. Razorvine out. Freeing still holding into the corner. Backs up. Easy headshot for the third. Magnum now left by himself. And Freeing's gonna have an
Çok bağırdılar. Çok bağırdılar. Çok gaza gelmişler. Ciddiyet, ciddiyet. Hadi. Normalde bu kadar bağırmaz Koreliler. Bir şey olmuş. Arkada bir şey olmuş.
Decent amount of confidence for Freeing now and DRX to start things off, considering they were trailing in the last map this time around. They want to be the ones in control. The BBL, I mean, even look at this.
Anti-ciddiyet var şu an.
It's not going to be the Jet, it's going to be Levin on the Yoru. You've also got a double sentry look here as well with the Chamber. So as we move away from Teo, it is a very different type of composition for the BBL side, whereas moving on for DRX, really is just shifting the tail out for the Sova. Everything else looking pretty similar to how they used to play.
Yeah, and just one of those things, like you look at how these double sentinels are going to play.
Oyun sesini biraz açın ya. Biraz la. Ne olur ya.
Barrier mesh causing an issue. That's the first issue you talk about when the deadlock's in play.
Oğlum mermi bitti
How do
amına
you
koyayım.
get through that when it cuts off the site? The second issue is how do you get back onto site without having the same kind of initiator presence that we're used to seeing?
Walk past a bunch of, you got to walk past a shear going in through from B main, but it's going to be a very
Şunu vuralım.
incredible angle.
Çok iyi oğlum.
And Bane is just not going to be able
Tamam,
to do anything
ölebiliriz.
about it, which also eliminates the shear, which is an issue.
Exactly.
Çıkartmayalım, exit. Vurabildiğinizi vurun.
Flicker in the corner. Going for a recon dart here. I'd say aggression's right at the front door. The Bolt does get one reveal before being destroyed. Paranoia going to allow BBL to try to step up with these classics, but no. Shut down.
Bir can ya alayı.
Judge too strong.
Nice Lev. Çok iyi lan Lev. Çok güzel, çok güzel, çok güzel. Olsun, olsun. Fena silah kaybettiler. Çok iyi hasar, çok iyi hasar. 2 canla kaçtı ya.
Not as standard as you would have imagined for a map like Ascent, but here we are.
I think the map though is like it's molding towards that, just due to the fact that again the deadlock separation is key. The thing that was new is the chamber. Like we just, especially in the North American
lack of Killjoy here as well, I think.
Yeah, that's the other part. You know, or Cypher. That's the other one that you often see, but. Yeah, it's very different ideas for how this map wants to be played for both these two teams without the Tehill in the mix. Annihilation early earned. Does find a capture on the site. That's the Yoru who's currently in the cocoon. Mako pushing out. BBL not able to save Levin, although he does find one in some form.
O ne ya? O ne ya? Abi
Judge
Judge yasak değil mi ama ya?
Yeah, and all Magnum can do is watch. As he waits for the rest of his teammates to come through and at least delete the barrier mesh, but see what Sociable can do about this one. Reminder, this is the first gun round so far for BBL. And already in a tough spot.
Hareketlere bak ya.
Look how concerned Yompi is with the potential.
Arkadan geliyor.
Yompi might have a
gördü mü? Görmedi, timing kill. Ha gördü.
Saw him on that rotation to the dark cover. May not make much of a difference. The time is running out this retake.
Çok güzel Magnum. 3v3. Süre çok yok. Atla oğlum onu vur. Çok iyi. Çöz. Biz yes. Bu. Amına koyayım duyamıyorum ki duyamıyorum. Bizim çocukların sesi her şeyden daha yüksek geliyor ya.
I think there was just a slight mistiming there, Marco. Looking for a little bit more on that Judge. Opening kill into Profit is nice. I mean, they had a decent play advantage to work through here as well, but once that real retake sort of happens, Sociable coming up large with 2, and I didn't even see Yompi drop in the recon until quite late.
Güzel. Önemli roundtu. Çok iyi oldu.
Still ends up working out for Yompi. Again, lacked in the kill department a little bit earlier on Sunset, but heated up quite a bit on that second half and now continues that as we head into Ascent round number 4.
Abi Volume Master'la alakası yok. Oyunun yayından kısık yani. Oyunun sesi kısık direkt. Full'de şu an neredeyse öyle. Çok güzel Lev. Helal lan sana. Bu ne? Çok güzel Profek. Tamam, güzel main sende oğlum. Tek başına Blower.
And they're just going to sit, wait, and see if Bane can join the action on A.
He knows where Levin is. By the way, Levin used
Biliyor. Gördü Soşi. Görmedi mi?
While he does that, he leaves the rest of his team. Pray for DRX
Arkadaşını
to take
bekliyor.
down as it's going to be Bane joining Flicker here. Just Sociable really to deal with as well. Sociable is too much to deal with maybe.
Nice oğlum, nice.
Yeah, just kind of a mess at the front door.
Ekolar.
Power of the vice though. You smoke it, you razor vine it, you throw some deadlock utility
Çok iyi oynuyoruz maşallah maşallah.
to try to counter, but it doesn't really work out all that well for DRX, and it's just again this ships in the night, you know, the teleport onto
Levine POV almadık mı? Levine'in vuruşları POV yok muydu?
I mean,
Tamam.
this is going to be a
Çok iyi
potentially quite
observer.
rough attack side for both teams considering
Harika.
double senti on defense and double senti on attack.
Zaten bütün gördüğümüz vuruşları tekrar gördük.
Whichever team sort of strings together a decent amount.
Abi maşallah dedim ama. Maşallah dedim. Anti nazar.
In the series, if not winning it outright, if you're BBL on this map. Potential walk down and B. Just tuck away for Levin right now.
Yunmin able to step out, get the orb. That's enough for Knives, which you figure he's going to want to use here in this round with Sheriffs and a Stinger for the rest of his squad. Not a lot of push-up or really a feel-out towards B main, so Levin's feeling pretty comfortable for the time being.
Mid's completely taken over from BBL as well.
Yeah.
So DRX at this stage, I mean, is Sociable going to walk on further forward? Levin
Oğlum.
certainly is, they both will.
Well,
Bir dakika, ne oluyor? Çocuğa dikkat edin bak. O ne? Helal lan! Helal lan size! Helal lan size! Çok iyi round.
Just two members walking down mid, catwalk taken by Magnum, and BBL happy to just completely explore the map and
Entry'leri
take over.
kaçırdım ya.
DRX had no idea that they just lost that much control of the map, and then suddenly BBL activated at the right time. Bring us to a 3-2 here. Very competitive back and forth instead of this super one-sided start that we got on Sunset.
Yeah, and the other issue there for DRX is you don't have the ability of contesting mid because it is pistol upgrades and knives. So a vulnerability and just the weaponry you can bring to the table as we're going to get our first tour de force. Paranoia immediately to Levin's direction. Revealed and has to use the gate crash to get back to safety. Razorvine to stall a little bit longer.
O ne lan?
Shot from Hyunmin trades off the first blood as Mako committed to his teleport backside.
Yavaş, orada biraz yavaş koçum.
Gate crash teleport. Once again goes 1 for 1.
Side'da Yampi var. Amına koyayım geçemedi. İkisine de headshot hatta. Oh! Yampi! Yampi! Nice oğlum!
Is that his second 4K as well? Yampi has really come alive. Unbelievable stuff. And we talk about Profek on this team, Levin obviously, but my goodness.
Çok iyi şu an, çok iyi şu an.
Have any help backside of B. He was completely caught out. You're thinking he's dead to right. Surely nothing's going to happen here. This opening pick from Human, by the way, is disgusting. He beats out the tour de force. It just snaps onto the chamber. But then Yampi just staying alive here. Unbelievable stuff.
It's the first one for me. I mean, as the double drop down, you get a headshot just on the corner of the wall with a little flick. But that swings the economy favor back to BBL once again. DRX on a half buy. Looking possibly just for a quick burst play into A. You've got, again, double Razorvine or Arc Rose Razorvine combination at the front doors. Dark cover comes in. Now an opportunity for BBL to try to break down this hit. And how about
Of!
and Magnum just
İzin vermeyin, nefes aldırmayın.
Causing a bit of an issue, but
Deadlock ultisini de harcadı. Çok iyi. Öl artık. 5-2. Devam. CNG Fnatic 9-3. Bir round almış. Helal olsun Ferit. Sayemde.
Talk about it being a back and forth, but now suddenly BBL once again trying to get that 4-round lead that they had in early moments of Sunset. So a lot of ultimates in their pockets as well. just a Prophet and Magnum show in this particular round to stop any aggression coming through from main.
And that's just the power of Vice right there. You've got the Arc Rose as a
Kritik round, çok kritik Sami.
The Razor Vines to stop things in its place.
Sami çok kritik Sami. Amına koyarım
Too
Sami.
much control coming through.
Almamız lazım.
Steel Garden at the ready for
Şunu
Magnum.
almamız lazım.
One away is Bane from having the same. Yampi also for the defensive side has the Hunter's Fury, but same can be told for Flicker as you get into round 8.
Drone geliyor.
Güzel
ulti. Güzel ulti. Bu bir. Öldü nice. Bir tane daha. Olur Yampi. Yampimdir o benim. Finlandiya'nın gülü ya.
BBL with the numbers. Oh, just a stray shot connects onto Hyun Bin just to make matters a little bit worse. Again, the Razorvine playing on the right side of A. The Arc Rose still keeping the tree position safe for BBL. And honestly, if you're DRX, you've got no control in Mako right now. You don't have the ability to flash.
FPS de bir kötü ya yayın.
I just don't know how you opened up the site unless you use Hunter's Fury to do it.
You fully lost mid here.
Profek tek başına.
So forget about that. Just straight over towards A.
Bunu öldür hemen. Bunu öldürün. Helal oğlum. Selamünaleyküm dedi Profek.
If you're going to commit for
çok iyi.
Fight back into this, I think if you're DRX, the only real option is to use Hunter's Fury to clear off one part of the site. They just try to dive into a Razorvine.
The problem is these rounds are just getting really dirty, and DRX is falling apart. We're not looking at close rounds for DRX anymore. We're just looking at them being completely shut out of sights. And you talk about it, Vice is going to be a problem to run into. It's the double sentinels that are just going to be problematic, and you are running double sentinels yourself. So at this point,
6 yazın oraya.
I mentioned earlier, how many rounds can you get on this attacking side for you to feel comfortable, so that then you have enough buffer to play through that you can suddenly get your double senti online for your defensive side.
Aranır.
I think it is going to be the game of winning on defense by how much.
And that's been the case, I think, with the Teo nerfs that have come through this map.
Enti. Öyle pozisyon mu var ama?
Very defensively sided. And that it will continue to be the case at least here early.
Quick one in here is that Social did lose his op in the previous round, so there's at least one bit of economy damage done. But
Oğlum, ne oldu challenge?
For BBL, but
challenge accepted amına koyayım, gel.
Play through some smokes, cut off angles for Sociable, and then at least have some presence there.
Gel.
But you're also seeing Magnum multiple rounds. He's happy to just play catwalk.
Ne dediler acaba, ne oldu? Sinan öğrensene onu bir, ne olmuş? Abi alacaksak aynen öyle. Arsenal. Abi. Bir tane çıkardı gene, iyi ya. Daha fazla çıkarabilirdi de. Bu adamın niye canı bu kadar az? Hemen ölsün. Flicker. Yiyeceğim bu çocuğu ya. 2 ve 3 yapmadığınız şey değil. Sociable'da operatör var. Şu bir.
Has to hit this. Do you check this
the barrel? He's already revealed himself.
Yeah.
Because the barrel on that up is just so long. Freeing knows, as the name suggests, it's going to be a freebie and finally get on side. They get a round win. They get past the Razorvine. I believe it was a shock dart that deleted that earlier on.
Molaymış abi, had hatası. Normal düz molaymış. Okay.
You're good to go. Doesn't even have to use Hunter's Fury. Good stuff.
Yeah. A little bit of a tempo change.
Tamam. Peki. Olur. Tabii olur, buyurun.
Whether that's where the Razorvine is placed, which is the case here, or what you want to do in terms of the personnel, especially considering that the operator can still be afforded. Again, that's going to be used at mid, as you would often expect.
Yeah. Was also a Steel Garden round as well.
Nasıl rollendik ama? Dur Faruk. Evet, dikkatli. 7'yi isterim, 8'imi isterim.
Shock darts out again. Does delete the Razorvines again. Hunter's Fury ready for Flicker. How do you commit to if you're DRX onto A this time? Do you spend the Hunter's Fury to try to clear out some of the site? You know that BBL has been heavy stacked at tree.
So the least amount of mid that BBL have played in a couple of rounds.
Abi çok
korkutucu.
Does
really want to do this?
Çok korkutucu. Smoke bitecek. Profek. Görmediler. Oh! Profek bir tane daha. Ya Flicker'ı yiyeceğim ya. Ultisi var. Okey, güzel.
Metro Drift is going to be there as well.
Canlar az ya.
Barry Mesh to lock out on short.
Aynen öyle, erken oynayalım. Birini gördük. Alta geçti. Diğerini de biliyoruz. Hepsini biliyoruz. Hepsinin infosu var şu an. Ah, o da 30. Yok, zaten 30'da amına koyayım. Abi. 1 ve 2. Oh!
Shock dart over towards main. On site. Opening shots. Evenly exchanged. Yampi on the
Ay
white
sikiyim
team.
ya. Şöyle almalıydık ya.
Able to get us this a little bit closer to tie.
Canlar azdı.
Just in case it goes wrong, but you see the shot coming through from Yampi, position revealed. Hunter's Fury, just in case things go even worse. Really big round from DRX. And that's considering the fact
Lan şurada vurmasa
Sochi'yi. What a brilliant position, completely unmarked and came through for at least one massive kill.
Önemli. Yerinde bir mola, yerinde
I
bir
think one of
mola.
the pivotal kills was Levin popping dimensional drift, putting himself into wine, then just losing the 1 versus 1.
Yeah. Really good call there. So now all of a sudden, after what has been a defensive dominated first half, DRX have changed the narrative with a couple of rounds in a row, and it puts a little bit more pressure onto BBL to try to clean things up, and their economy is a little bit more broken here because of the two forces on the operator in the last couple of rounds. So what do they have to afford here? I don't even know if they have enough for a full purchase. So you have to kind of make a decision on the financial side of things, like do we want to actually purchase here and see if we can maybe steal something away, or do we just save to play for the final round of the half?
DRX have also played B multiple times now. They've conditioned this one, so where do we find ourselves in the following rounds? Where
Hadi çocuklar. Bir fokus kaybı yaşadık, hadi.
Rather, B hasn't been explored for a while, mid hasn't been explored for a while, multiple A finishes.
Eko'yuz ama Eko'muz güçlüdür. Bir Eko çalsak var ya, of.
Really huge for BBL.
Of. 2 ultileri var.
It's still a chance for DRX to tie the half, considering that's huge. Into a weakened weaponry, DRX are looking at B main. Early pop flash doesn't really say much. And this weapon of Sociable will stay relatively safe.
Atamadı. Dışında kaldı.
Big
reveal from Yampi is decent. Shock darts finding some chunk damage. May lead to something with these sheriffs, but another spray down from Hyunmin has a 5v3, make it now a 4v3. 4v1 rather, I should say, as the rest of the kills come through quickly. And there it is, a clean, polished DRX.
7-5.
Back to within 1.
7 alalım.
Clean grab net there to secure the kill onto
7 alalım.
Sociable.
Anlaşalım.
And DRX likely to finish this one 6-6 now, unless BBL's final gun round has anything to say about it. Look at the string of ultimates online for DRX. And it's going to be quite a lot to play through, lack of which for BBL. And as I said during that pause as well, haven't seen B in a while from DRX, and they decided that was around to pull it through.
Yeah, against the weakened weaponry, that makes complete sense. But different show here. Early paranoia at B main and a deep dark cover trying to put some pressure onto B. It's going to force the Vice back. Knives out for
fake
Hyunmin.
atıyorlar.
Mako committed.
Fena fake attılar.
They get Mako at the commitment
Onu da
off
vur.
of his from the
Hayır,
shadows.
hayır.
Sociable gets caught looking the wrong way. That may have been a round-winning kill if he could find it. And DRX will have vacancy to set up their 4v4 post plant with two big ultimates available for them.
Hızlı oynasak ya şurayı, hızlı oynasak ya.
Now suddenly, it's a free site, free plant.
Evet.
Good opportunity though. Hyunmin still good for one.
Alttakini vur, alttakini.
Side towards A main. Critical to find profit.
Hadi oğlum.
Still have freeing with the annihilation. Can he find the bank shot if they toggle the spike? Flash is on the way out. And
Nice.
they do bait it out pretty darn nicely to the 1v1. Levin versus Bane.
Onlar aldı ya.
They know he's pulling over towards the Bane finds the shot. And DRX.
Skin spoilerını amına koyayım ya.
Wow, what a brilliant finish there. Both players hiding in main. Annihilation to remove one player in the last 1 versus 2. And just clean shots, Levin. We've seen how good he has been in the last 2 maps. One in this series, 1 versus Sentinels.
Harbi ulti nasıl tuttu ya?
Hasn't been winning a couple of these 1v1 situations. It's a step away from what he usually plays on this map, which would have been the Jet. And a 6-6 where you have to start discussing the fact that for both teams, defense is where they need to succeed.
Correct.
But DRX gets 6
Aa, print stream şeyi lan o, gripleri.
Is this enough defensive rounds for BBL,
Mouse'un
considering that
mouse
they're going to be on the
print
attack now, double senti into double senti?
Yeah, we're going to find out pretty darn quickly, because again, this is the first time we've seen both these two teams post-Teho nerfs. So what do you have cooked up if you're BBL?
Ultiyi kıramazdı arkadaşlar orada. Öyle bir ulti kırma yok yani. Adam çıkar vururdu diğer adam. Mermisini harcayamaz yani oraya.
After map number 1. Whereas for DRX, I mean, same could be said. They haven't played it.
Masanın üstündeki siyah kutu ne? Mikser abi o.
Very well rehearsed on it, without question. And before the nerfs,
şunu diyorsanız Elfan o.
6% defensive
Şu
win
mikser.
rate for them. So
şunlar
you
mikser.
got to figure these boys know what they're doing on this side of the map.
It's also a change in style. I mean, we talked about.
Alo.
From their comp in a large way. Now we need to start seeing if they can pull together something on this offense. Despite me saying Levin might have had a quiet one, actually still at the top of the leaderboard right now, sitting right next to Yompi. And you'd imagine maybe you're in the attacking side could be what Levin needs to pop off again and lead BBL to victory. Or it's going to be DRX bringing us to Haven.
And it's going to be down to how do they want to set Levin up, especially considering that the chamber is just an extra rifle or weapon a lot of the time. You know, obviously the Tour de Force brings a certain level of prestige with it, but
tam fight olacak. Kamerayı değiştiriyor ya.
What that looks like for BBL on the offensive side, because it does feel like this is a lot of get Levin into position.
Oo 25 can.
Quick push in towards B main, largely shut down as Bane takes a lot of damage, and meanwhile mid map is wide open. So
güzel. Mid'de
BBL will
açıklık
say
var.
thank you very much. They'll have Sociable pushed and scaled deep into position as they try to catch the rotation on the defense.
Yeah, just drop him off and then shift over towards A side. Now you're up Cat, forcing Freeing to move away and address that issue. Might be able to find a timing here as well.
Abi marketten dönüyorlar.
Utility out. But because the grab net is there, followed by the paranoia.
Oğlum çok anlıklı. Sociable 2 vurmuş.
Sociable
3'ü vurdu. 3 ve 2.
So even though the play towards tree didn't necessarily work out, the play towards tree did work out because it forced the defense to move. Sociable.
Abi çat.
Magnum in the corner. Gets one.
Oh, Magnum.
Big stuff from Magnum as BBL take the
O
pistol.
vuruşlar
Magnum
ne?
in his hands as well. 2 kills there to finish things off. It's BBL once again.
Abi Soshi 3 vurdu. Bir tane killini izleyemedik ya.
This time they'll take a pistol compared to
Replay
losing
geliyor.
earlier pistol, but what an exit here. These are the kills you talked about. The possibility for Sociable to maybe activate and push over towards spawn, but no, just catching plays in pizza instead.
Çok iyi.
And Magnum following up at the end. Again, another 2 kills in pizza to clean up the round.
DRX not going to do anything crazy here.
Önemliydi pistol.
So BBL,
pistollerimizi bayağı geliştirmişiz bu arada ya.
How cleanly can they take this anti-eco if they take it at all? We've seen some craziness so far today. Small walk down for DRX at B main. A little bit of pressure here for Hyun Min with the long range angle from Bane, but
çok güzel tersten adam öldürdük.
They find the first 2. And if BBL continue to just rip apart the middle of the map like this is going to be a big issue for DRX defensively.
Well, let's see what happens.
Soshi'cim sol köşede olabilir adam.
I think Sociable is
Soshi'cim
considering
bekle.
that he could get caught here, but really this is just 2 alive now.
Bak Flicker'a bak.
For DRX as they've been dismantled. Not expecting much from Flicker, although you could just be Sociable and miss the second shot, and Flicker will make things a little bit more interesting for the round. Magnum, too sharp though. It still will be an 8-6.
Yep. Just comes down to can Bane find anything else on the post-plant exit?
I was going to say as well that hard for DRX to want to get aggressive in this round, considering, you know, double senti for BBL on the attacking side means you can cut off so many different angles that DRX can push on through. As you see, the first kill came in through from B main, just waiting patiently. Long range advantage, Sociable.
Güzel bonus round.
From tiles into Cat as well, so patience rewarded here.
2 off the Steel Garden early is Bane, by the way, or Brandon, by the way. That could be something you play for. Can you get him an orb here at B and then re-wrap back over and get him the 1 at A?
That was also a winning play coming through from Bane on the attacking side for DRX. There was that 1 Steel Garden round win.
Yep.
Looked pretty good for them.
Looks like they want to set him up to try to get one. Decoy, Aldrone, a lot of spend here. Yep, and they're going to get him 1 off.
The scan, though.
Doesn't make much of a difference. Maybe trying to find one more pick to try to pop the shear. That'll pull the defense, at least their
O
focus
sırada midi açmışız.
continue to get free space at mid.
Güzel, midi alalım abi. Midi bırakmaları çok iyi bu arada.
In their current form, like you have to have an operator, you would think.
They have double center. You would imagine that you'd have enough util to cover these gaps, but mid is consistently a gap, and that's going to lead to a take.
Site'a sıkıştılar.
Flicker, Yunmin, Bane, all still playing on site at B. Bane will catch his first over through stairs. Steel Garden earned though as Magnum.
Arsenal geldi bu.
Profit off of that.
Dikkat ama dikkat. 3 ve 2. 3 ve 2. Oğlum bonus. Kritik. Satmayın. Helal lan Soshi sana.
Yeah, he's going to save here. This is just way too difficult. Steel Garden kind of saw the play coming on through. Take the orb, farm the ult up. And suddenly DRX has got an advantage gone. Free upgrades all around for
Arsenal ne
BBL.
açıyor? Ya şey bağırıyor ya Arsenal diye ulti atarken.
Thinking about going for the chase here, to be
Vice.
honest. Whether he gets a kill or
Bilmem ne
dies, he
Arsenal
will
diyor
get a
ya
total
ama.
force off this, so it's a free gun next round, regardless what happens.
Yeah, why not?
Seviliyorlar.
9-6 tally though.
Seviliyorlar
And again,
Soshi bulur mu onu?
there's a level of yes, you have double sentinels if you're DRX.
Soshi bence
But you
onu
really don't want to spend
bulamaz ya.
a hefty amount of utility
falan
guarding
var.
mid like that. That's where like the
Bring
Killjoy
me
is
in
often
the
top
Arsenal.
favorite
Aynen öyle diyor.
an alarm bot down or a turret somewhere by mid market. But you don't have that ability here, and DRX need to figure out what they want to do to defend mid.
Because the senses are, it's not quite the same in terms of info. That's more of a punish utility, right? You want someone to walk into it, then you can just swing on them while they're stunned up, or if they're going to crouch through that one and be slow about it. So, yeah, I guess to your point, not exactly the same. Really, sheer is the big tool here. That's been placed with the B main.
Yeah, you don't want to spend that at mid. They're going to.
9-6. Haydi oğlum.
Well, you also can't
Ekolar.
just keep losing through mid
Dikkatli.
either.
Ekolar. Altın gibi roundlar bak bunlar.
See what the play call is going to be. As also helping out at mid is Flicker. Keep in mind this is a limited purchase though for DRX. So
Atamadı, kötü attı.
Really
Evet oğlum Lev, evet oğlum. Entry derim. Onu da evet oğlum. Headshot'tan başka vurmuyor reis. O ne amına? Bir can kanka hadi ya. Ne yaptın lan çocuk? Tamam geldim. Alo beyler. Tamam. Tamam. That's one oğlum. Güzel. Aceleye gerek yok. Çok güzel bravo Len. Gel beni de vur.
Ace time.
Outside of the dark cover. Nope, not going to happen. It's an ace for 11.
Dadan dadan.
There it is. There's the pop off that'll earn the dimensional drift as well. Beautiful round coming on through from BBL.
Hiç kameraları göstermeyin ama Lev'nin o sevinişini falan göstermeyin. Gerek yok.
Into glass, that would have been truly disgusting shot. But just
biz tahmin ederiz, hayal ederiz.
Playing with his senses. Put some decent damage on a human, which allows him to just pop through damage through the wall and then easy ace at the end there to extend this lead.
Abi yani kazanıyoruz, çok iyiyiz, güzel de yani o heyecanı alamıyorum ya şu an. Ne spikerlerden alıyorum, ne observer'dan alıyorum yani.
Well, quick hit here on towards A. Defense not really in position to deal with this, although.
Abi smoke girdi, smoke girdi. Çok iyi da. Ne diyorsun ya Lev? Yanıyor, çocuk yanıyor. Ellemeyin çocuğu. Bir de eğimine çıkmaya çalışıyor. Eğimine çıkmaya çalışıyor. Challenge accepted amına koyayım. Helal lan, helal sana amına koyayım. 2 roundda 9 vurdu eleman.
Yeah, two more that'll be 11 for 11 in just 3 rounds as BBL, speaking of which they hit that number. 11-6, 5-round gap, and you think you're DRX. How do you pull this one into OT again? As we thought it was going to be the defensive side for both teams, certainly looking at the double Cindy setups, but BBL 5 in the attacking side in a row. Give the 12
Gaza gelmeyelim.
That feels terrible.
Karşımızda DRX var sonuç olarak.
And you lose, well then you lose the entire
11-6.
Probably going to go for sheriffs. I think there's a level of like, you know, you want to see the team play for the win. Not to say that sheriffs are impossible, especially considering how good some of the shots have been, but again, you're dealing with light armors and double outlaws for BBL.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so set up to take down DRX in this anti-eco. You saw the potential for DRX to set up sort of a flash play, paranoid play into A, but BBL just weren't even there, so that's a little unlucky for DRX. And now mid taken again. And freeing. Doesn't quite have vision over, but he might be in a position to get himself a freebie onto Magnum if something goes well for him.
Delayed play through mid, why not? It's been free. There's the sheer. Sociable doesn't care.
Çok iyi oğlum Lem. Enteri derim. Kaç enterisi oldu oğlum Lem'in? Terste adam kaybetmeyelim. Çok güzel B'ye yöneldik. İşte. Bravo Yampi. Çok iyi kill. Nereden vurdun lan? Tamam olur. Soshi kendini feda etti. İyisin oğlum. 4 ve 2. 3 ve 2. Ne oluyor? Silah aldı. 40 canı var Lev'nin. Bir tane çıkartması lazım. Bir tane. Şerif'e tek diyor. Öyle bir sıkıntımız var. Ne? Oğlum uyuyordu bu çocuk. Nice! Nice! Nice!
Man. Mako made that one interesting, but I think the insurance policy was still there. Yumpy, something nice and clean. Looking at Hunter's Fury, match point found. And what a win it would be for BBL to not only take down Sentinels.
Dünyanın ilk 8'i için. International turnuvada ilk 8 için.
You won't be able to call this one a fluke anymore.
No.
Especially if it's
6 el.
where they clean up 2-0. You don't even go to a map 3. Forget about it.
6-50'lik maç roundu.
It really has been.
Bir tane round alacağız. Bir.
Yeah. And now because shares
Öyle bir şey yok. Öyle bir şey yok. Kapat o bilgisayarı. Levin abim burada. Gel beni de vur ya. Bu çocuk neler yapıyor? Yandı mı var ya? Kimse tutamaz ya bunu. Aldı aldı. Şu an istediğini yapacak şu an. Çok iyi oğlum. Çok iyi oğlum.
But it had to be a 1v5. And this next part is the most difficult part about it.
He's already revealed positioning.
Try to get one of his own. Sidestep just a touch.
Nice! Nice!
13-6 at BBL. Whoa! To qualify for playoff.
And the most insane thing about how this series ends is
the fact that it's a single round
on the offensive side.